Evening Squires, it's Isadora, and I'm coming at you from an Airbnb in a pueblo Mexico in Mexico called the Baslan. So I'm gonna show you, me and my friend, we're splitting this place for a month, so I'm not gonna show you like her bedroom and shit. She's out for the day. I sprained my ankle 2 days ago, so I'm like kicking it at home, but I figure I love Airbnb tour videos, so I'm gonna show you. I think like we're splitting this whole house, and it was about 330 USD a person for the whole month. So I'm gonna show you, like, I guess like budget stuff is like very subjective, you know? Yeah, I'm gonna show you this whole place and what we got down here, what we're dealing with. We decided to just like take our work with us, and like, so we both had like really fucked up years in terms of like family illness and different things going on last year, and decided to like take this opportunity while we have some free time to just like decompress in a small town. So that's what we're doing here. Yeah, let's take a look at the place. I know that Airbnb is like an evil company, and it's very again, I haven't cleaned. I'm just showing you what it really looks like. We've been here over a week already. Something in this part of Mexico, there's just like hella bugs. So like all the beds come with like bug nets, which I think is really cool. I feel like a little princess when I tuck into my bug net every night. Something if you're staying in like arid zones, the deserts, places where there's scorpions, whatever, every night in the morning, I like bang the shit out of all my pillows and I shake out all my blankets and stuff. That's kind of why some stuff's in a pile. Today's my first day home alone, because like we're sharing this place and like there's no doors. So like I haven't really been like, except for like the front, it's kind of cool. We're like in a closed off like compound off the road, so I feel super safe. I'd say like there's some really cool and beautiful details in this place. Like some things are very jank, but like, I don't know. Yeah, like look at this beautiful headboard. Okay, like, And look, we have like plenty of like storage space and stuff. They do say this place is equipped for long stays. Kinda. We'll get into it. But yeah, there's like beautiful wooden furniture and like beautiful plants everywhere. And like, okay, look at this view. So like we're up high, all right? So like honestly, if like you either don't like walking or like, I'd say honestly, Mexico is not like accessible in general. So like if you're in a wheelchair, if you have other things, especially these little pueblos, like I would not come here for vacation if I was you. Hold on, maybe I can. Sorry, I don't want to open the doors because I made friends with this little black cat. And like sometimes she comes in here and like yells at me and like eats our trash. But you know what? You know what? She's allowed. Hold on, let me open this up for you. Wait, how do I do this? Yeah. Come out with me on the balcony. So yeah, like, look, some things are a little bit wacky about this house, and I'm gonna be totally real with you, but like, would I recommend staying here? Certainly. Like 100%. Like, look, we got like cool ceiling beams, cool lights, like just like a beautiful window with a view of the mountains and like vines growing over the window. More lovely furniture, like cool art, like it's a nice little spot, like a lot of nice details. I'll link this place below. So, yeah, here's my little ankle wrap. Yeah, here's the bathroom. I think this bathroom's hella cute. Look at all that tile. Ooh, yeah, I would say this place is best set up for like 1 to 2 people who are like very cool with each other, just because like there's no doors like blocking off the rooms and no doors blocking like the lower floor from the top. Like, so you can see straight through to the front door. Yeah, I do like the little like hippie touches, all the plants, the art. But as far as things, like there's a lot of things that are like a little bit broken in here. Like these railings, like do not be leaning on them. As I've said, like our water situation is kind of weird down here. Like I gotta like manually press some stuff to refill the house with water like pretty much every other day. And the water pressure in the shower is so bad that my friends started using 2-in-1 shampoo. But I feel like that's just kind of like Mexico, dog. Like, I don't know, look at the beautiful view I have. Like, I don't got that much bitching to do. And we'll finish off in the kitchen because I'm gonna make, I'm gonna heat up some lunch. I have like, I learned how to make tlahtlaqueadas. We'll get into it. But again, like, look, like beautiful lights and like beautiful big windows, plants everywhere, like very nice wooden furniture. Like, I love living with a tree in my house. There's like cool masks and butterflies on the wall. We haven't used the TV yet just because like we're not big TV people. But like, look at those cute kitties over the TV. Let me zoom in. Look at those babies. I love it. Yeah, we got a big plant, more lovely chairs that like match the headboard. This table's really cool. This was genuinely cut out of a tree. And I talked to the host and he said he made it himself. Like, sick, right? Like, that's so cool. I'm gonna sit down so you can peep the like, yeah, like that's the base of the table, dog. Very cool in here, like truly. Big ass plants. Like, why don't I have a tree in my house at home? Like, I'm not truly living. So yeah, I love this table. Me and my friend, we're like snack fiends, you know? So this is actually amaranth that I learned how to pop myself, that I've been using to make tlahtlaqueadas, which are like pre-Hispanic vegetable patties that use like, usually like grain and like chia or like other like, kind of like vegan egg substitutes using seeds as like a binder. So I'm gonna turn on some lights. Yeah, so here's the kitchen. Again, like it's super cute, right? Yeah, turn on those lights, but you'll see like all the fixtures are like just like random bulbs hanging out of the ceiling, which like honestly, I lived in places like that in Spain too. So like I'm not, like again, I would recommend staying here. It's just like, there are certain things like, they say the house is like fully equipped for long stays. And like a lot of the stuff they provide in the kitchen is like either like half broken or already broken. Like we have this full oven and we were so excited. And like the oven has no rack in it. And we're like, how do we use that? The stove works fine. This blender, he told us not to use it because like a last guest broke it. But I'm like, I don't know, like usually if a guest breaks something in your house, wouldn't you tell them to like replace it? Like, I don't know what happened in here, but like, I don't even want to open this blender because it smells like death. Wait, hold on. I'm gonna like open the blender and smell it for you. Pray for me. Low-key smells like something died in there. I don't know what happened, but yeah. And also like there's things where it's like, they say it's equipped for long stays and like my friend, like she heated up water 3 times in the kettle and it already doesn't heat anymore. Like we had to buy our own cutting board because like the one they gave us was like splintering, you know? The house, like, it came with like very minimal tools. So that's the thing, like we did say that came with that pan. We did ask for a pot and he did give it to us, which is cool, but I'm like, all right, so it's like fully equipped kitchen, but like 1 spatula, like 1 pan, no pot. It did come with a lot of like really cute like bowls and like mugs and like glasses and stuff. But my friend tried to use like one of the mugs today and like the handle started cracking. So I'm like, maybe shit in here is just like mad old, I don't know. But yeah, so like we can't use the blender, can't use the oven. Yeah, so I'm like, also another thing, like we have like a broom, but like we have no dustpan. So like my friend was laughing. She was like, oh yeah, like they say they include cleaning at like your choice as a courtesy, but also they give you nothing to clean with. Yeah, this is really nice. We had like a full like thing. These are all my like herbs and teas I brought. I got like lemongrass on my favorite smoky gray tea from La Esquina del Té. This is my kefir that's like fermenting. This fridge kind of funky. Like one of my friend, like her yogurt curdled in here. Like my berries went moldy in there. Something up, but I don't know. Look at this like beautiful work on these stairs though, even though like the upstairs ones are kind of shaggy. Like I really appreciate in this house there's like so much like beautiful like old wood and like handmade things, and like this is the biggest kitchen of any place I've ever been in like years. Like y'all have seen my house in Mexico City. Like I live in a shoebox, and like me and my friend have been talking a lot about how like we think it might be time to move on to the city. Like I miss having a fucking kitchen. Like this is just like crazy. Like here, like to live in a space like this in Mexico City, you would need to pay like probably like almost like 4 million pesos or something. Like damn. Yeah, that's just my yoga mat. I do yoga like right down here. Yeah, I don't know. I really like this space though. I'm really enjoying it. I feel super chill here. Like they have like a copy of the Bhagavad Gita down there. Like I don't know, and I love like the exposed brick walls, and like it's just very nice. Like I don't know, and that's the thing, like especially anywhere you stay, like in Mexico, something's gonna be kind of funky. Like whether you rent long term, whether you rent Airbnbs. Like once I stayed in an Airbnb in San Miguel de Allende, and like it literally just had like a bed and a bed frame in there, like nothing in the kitchen, no soap, no toilet paper, no sheets, no pillows. I don't know, it's like a chill vibe in here. I like their little like lampshades and stuff, and like it's very interesting. There's like cool thoughtful details. Also like the owners, they run a service where you can like order like catered food and stuff, and they gave us a complimentary breakfast, and it was some of the best food I've ever eaten. So like again, like I would totally recommend staying here if like you're in Tepoztlan. I really like Tepoztlan so far. I'm pretty happy. I think I'm gonna like heat up my lunch in the microwave and I will return. If you're into the vibes, like, comment, subscribe, whatever. We're just gonna catch up and I'm gonna show you my beautiful lunch. So these are tlautaqueadas. These are like pre-Hispanic vegetable patties. Why did I say that? Pre-Hispanic vegetable patties. I've had them in a couple restaurants in Tepoztlan while I've been up here, and I like fell in love with them and I learned to make them myself. So these are mostly like squash and zucchini flour, amaranth, and chia. And I topped them with mole almendrado, which is not pre-Hispanic, but it's my favorite mole. I topped them with mole almendrado, pepitas, and some of the leftover amaranth that I puffed myself. And next to it, these are just like frijoles from a can mixed with a slice of cheese, which is one of my favorite foods ever. Hell yeah. And this is a sugar-free sweet peach tea. So usually I would eat downstairs in the dining room, kitchen, living room area I showed you, but it's hella dark down there. So I brought you up here with me. So me and my friend have been in Tepoztlan for about a week. Tepoztlan is what's known as like a pueblo mágico, which are basically these like little like a pueblo just means town. So there are these like famous small towns throughout Mexico that are known for different things. Like here in Tepoztlan, they're really known for like the pre-Hispanic foods, like the tlautaqueadas. Like these, every restaurant here is delicious. They're famous for like the beautiful mountains. I think it's the Teposteco. That's like the beautiful mountains that surround here. It's kind of like a big like hippie town. Yesterday when I was walking around with friends, I found like an institute for studying the occult. And they're really known for aliens sightings here, which is why I picked up this mug from like a random shop, and it has like an alien abducting a cow and it says Tepoztlan. This is just water. Gotta stay hydrated. So yeah, we've been here chilling for about like a week, and like, man, I really think I need to leave Mexico City. Mole almendrado, if you've never had it, it's like a sweet and spicy mole. I feel like in Mexico City it's sweeter, and here it's spicier. Almendrado just refers to like almendras, which are like the almonds that are part of the mole. I'd say if you don't know what mole is, it's kind of like the equivalent of like a curry. Only usually moles, like you can get them as like a spice mix. You can get them how I prefer them, which is in like a paste form. And it's almost like the like Japanese curry roux blocks. Like you just put it in something and you end up with like the best and most delicious sauce of all time. If you're not into like this, you might be thinking, wow, that's a lot of brown food. Yeah, it is. It's great. I'm gonna have to buy more vegetables and make more tlatlacayas for real. But yeah, just being like out here, I'm like, it's so easy to do stuff. And in Mexico City, it's so hard. So I think some of the kind of like issues, now again, like I'm a foreigner in Mexico, I'm from the US, but I've lived and been like all over the world and like worked all over the world and stuff. So like something I've kind of come across in Mexico a lot, especially with American foreigners, they're either like, we love everything about Mexico and like Mexico's perfect. And like, if you have any criticisms or you notice anything wrong or you say anything, you're like an awful person. And then there's Americans who come down here and genuinely like hate relentlessly on everything. And which I guess that's like what Americans do in America too. Like we're not a very nuanced people up there. So again, like when I'm talking about things that are like going on in Mexico City or things that might not work for me, I'm not even saying that like you might not like it or like this is like an inherent evil there. So again, Mexico City is like a huge metropolis. It's one of the largest cities in the Americas. I think it's twice as big as like New York City, dude. So like if you've never left the United States, you do not even have like a lived reference for like what it's like to live in like a metropolitan area of like over 20 million people. Like you just don't, man. So like because of all that, like it's so chaotic and it can be so hard to get literally anything done. Again, like one, I think Mexico City is a place where like millions of people come in and out to work every day. So like the rush hour there is like nothing I've ever experienced before in my life. Like you kind of have to plan your life around like rush hours. Depending on where you live too. Sometimes you can't even get on public transportation. And like a big thing I've kind of seen like mixed reviews of, again, like no people are a monolith and everybody has like different opinions on different things. Like I've seen Mexicans be like, oh, it sucks that like gringos come down here and like they just Uber everywhere and they like never take the metro and like that's why the city is like so crowded. And I'm like, actually like the real contributing factor to why Mexico City is unlivably crowded is because so much of like Mexico's economy is centralized around Mexico City. So that means you have like a vast workforce of millions of people who all work in Mexico City but can't afford to live there because it's like so ridiculously expensive. So like they all come in and out of the city, like even from other cities in Mexico, other states in Mexico, like they come in and out to work and it's just like a huge fucking jam. Like especially on weekends, a lot of people will leave Mexico City and on Sunday nights when they all come back, it might take you like 4 hours in traffic to cross like a 40-minute distance. Otherwise. Also something too, like again, like Mexico City is like, it's wildly expensive. Something that's happened, especially like, cause I have friends that they've lived in like Mexico City, like 10 years or more. We're talking like Mexicans and like foreigners, like all being priced out of their neighborhoods because like landlords are charging so much because like rich remote workers who like work for like Google and shit, they all want to like be in Mexico City now because it's like the hot place to be. Correct. They don't really want to be in Mexico City. They want to be in like Condesa, Polanco, and like Roma Norte. Like that's where they want to be because those are like the richest areas of the city. But like there's so many of them coming in that even places that like used to be affordable, like the craziness is spilling out. Like, so I've never lived in like Condesa, Roma Norte, or Polanco because some of those places cost more than it would to live in like my city in the US. But like even if you live on the edges of them, so like there's a neighborhood that's more like working class Mexican families. It's called Escandon, and it like abuts like Condesa. And then next to Escandon, you have Tacubaya. Once I was apartment hunting, and Tacubaya is kind of like known for being like super dangerous. Or like you'll see like memes that are like, si no conoces Tacubaya, es mejor que no vayas, which is like, if you don't know your way around here, do not come. And when I was apartment hunting, I saw somebody asking for like 20,000 pesos to live in Tacubaya, bro. A month. I think that's like 1,300 USD a month. So like, I feel like in Mexico City, like the prices of everything are exorbitant. And like, while technically you have like access to all these things, you kind of don't, because like the infrastructure is like not good. Like again, like, and it's an infrastructure that can't even support, like again, like because Mexico City is so horribly expensive and unlivable, most of the Mexican workforce travels like hours every day in and out. So then on top of these people, you have like rich foreigners coming in and being like, I'm gonna like Uber everywhere. I'm like, it's very interesting, like something that I've kind of experienced as a foreigner living in Mexico. It's like, I'll go to like a business and then like I start noticing like the second they have like more gringo customers, they like jack up the prices 8 times. And a lot of times those places close. Like I've even seen places where it's like sliding scale, like if you're foreign, you pay like more. And like, I mean, do that if you want, but like, you would need like wild white guilt to be down with that. So I feel like there's just so much, like one, like being in a city where like technically you have, so you're paying to be in this like beautiful global metropolis and like have access to all these things, but like most of the time you don't, because it's so crowded. Like there's times, like I remember when I lived in the south of Mexico City and there'd be like events like more towards the center, you know, and I'd be like, oh, like this event is at like 7, which means I would need to be on the metro at like peak hours during rush hour, which means I won't be able to get on the metro at all, which means that I just won't go. Like, so it's like, why am I paying like this inflated cost and like to live in like, literally I'm living in like a gentrification trash Lego apartment in the city. Like sometimes my sink randomly explodes, and before I leave on trips, I actually manually turn off the water into all the sinks in my house so they can't explode before I leave. And I'm like, I don't have a kitchen. I'm living in like a shoebox. It's blatantly falling apart around me, but I'm paying like what you would pay to like rent a house in almost any other city just because it's in Mexico City, and like you have access to all this like culture, but like not really. And again, like that's the thing, like it's kind of like, I've noticed this with like New Yorkers in the US too, like they'll act like nothing outside of New York is real. Chilangos, which is like the New Yorker version of like people who are like living in Mexico City, they act like nothing outside of Mexico City exists, but it's just not true. Like these tlatequeadas, like I've never seen anything like that anywhere in Mexico City. Like I found them here. There's like regional foods, cultures, languages, like preserved native groups, like different museums, different landscapes. There's like literally Mexico has almost every biome like known to man. Like there's jungle, desert, rainforest, metropolis, small town, different kinds of beaches, volcanoes, like, and they're just like, nope, nothing outside of Mexico City is real. You need to like pay $10 million to be here only to like not be able to do shit because you can't leave. Like, or like there's certain things where like, especially living in like a smaller place in Tepoztlan, I'm like, damn, like I'm really in the mood for a Diet Coke. Or like I want to go to like a restaurant, like there's time and I'll just walk there. Like I really want to have that. Like sometimes in Mexico City, like I don't even leave my neighborhood because like I know it's going to be such a pain in the ass. There's protests all the time. Like there's times where like I've genuinely walked like 2 hours because like I had an appointment, and like, so like if public transport is down, that means that like traffic's gonna be crazy because everybody's taking Ubers. So like you'll pay a super inflated surge price to just sit in traffic and not go anywhere for hours. So I'm like, I'll just walk 2 hours. Definitely, like, I don't know if Tepoztlan is where like I will eventually like relocate to, but like it's weird, like when I first got to Mexico City, I was like so enchanted, you know, and I was like, wow, like every subculture, there's like a huge gay community, there's like all this stuff happening, like this is amazing. And then with time I was like, damn, like how often do I end up just like not even doing things here because it's like impossible to get anywhere. And like, I don't know, like I love having a kitchen so much. Like I'm making like pre-Hispanic vegetable patties and shit. Like, like having multiple burners. Like I literally cook on like a hot plate that's like taped to like a plyboard kitchen counter. Damn, I don't even know. Like, I feel like a big thing with me is like, I felt like in the US, I didn't really fit in very well. So I was like, I'm gonna find like a society that I fit into. And like the more places I've been to, like I've made a lot of friends all over the world and seen like really cool stuff. And like had a lot of experiences that were both like maybe almost killed me, other ones that I'm like grateful I had, you know? But I'm like, I don't really ever find a society that like suits me very well. So I'm like, I don't know, might as well just vibe. But yeah, I'm loving Tepoztlan and I like super recommend it. I've spent a lot of time just like wandering around like the city by myself and like exploring. Here, like you can find a lot of like shrines to like La Virgen, like tucked away in random spots and like hidden in like streams and stuff. And it's like you'll be in the city center and it's like you just crawl up like a couple blocks and it's like there's nobody there and there's like a stream like running under the road and like a beautiful altar to La Virgen. It's like, I love it up here. I love the vibes. I feel so much more productive. I feel like I have a lot less anxiety because one, I think just with Mexico City, like you really feel that there's like 23 million people around all the time. And like people are mad stressed. People are hustling because like they gotta pay all this money to like live in like a room that's broken with 8 people. Housing in Mexico City is a fucking disaster. Like something I've really encountered a lot. So in the time I've lived in Mexico City, there's been like riots and protests against like gentrification. And like, it's very interesting. Like a lot of people are like, gringos, get out of here. Like crackers, like leave the country. And I'm just like, I'm thinking like back to my experiences living all over Mexico and stuff. Everywhere I've ever rented was owned by like a Mexican landlord. So it's almost like, because the same thing happens in America too, where like the business class like exploits like immigrant labor because like they basically want to like enslave people. They want to treat people like shit. Like they don't want to like they don't want to have like people who have rights working for them basically. So they can like maximally exploit them. And then they tell like all the Americans who like they aren't hiring because they have rights that it's like the fault of like the immigrants who like stole their jobs, you know? And then like whole classes of people get like super mobilized and like angry at immigrants instead of at like the bourgeois class who's like actually controlling the jobs, who's controlling who gets hired. Here there's like, I think like the Mexican landlord class is trying to like kind of like to hide the fact that like they've literally made like this entire city where like millions of people work like inaccessible to them, and like they're jacking up prices at random. They're renting like horrible gentrification Lego houses where everything explodes at like high prices, you know? And then they're like, it's the gringos' fault for like living here. And I'm like, bro, like I can't vote. I legally cannot take part in any political action as a foreigner in Mexico, and I don't own property. So like, if you're telling me like be homeless or pay this high price and I pay it, like I ain't set that price. I don't own the property. Yeah. But or a big thing, like I think about it too, like when I've stayed, so for me, like I try not to stay in Airbnbs unless I like, I'm gonna be somewhere so long that I need a kitchen. We're here for a month, so like we need a kitchen, you know? But general for like weekend trips, like anything less than a week, I'm usually in like hotels and shit. And but whenever I've stayed in Airbnbs, they are owned by Mexican people. So I think really it's like, in Mexico, there's like a lot of tension between like the like property and like capital owning classes, like shutting out the lower classes, which is what's happening everywhere in the world. That's what like the rich people do everywhere. It's like the same shit happening everywhere. And then like the upper classes kind of like misdirect the anger on like convenient scapegoats, I think. But yeah, if you've seen too, like there's been a lot of like protests in Mexico City, like against Claudia Sheinbaum and like against like immigrants and like gringos and like shit like that. I don't know, like I don't know how authentic almost any protest or like mass march in Mexico is, like, because I remember when like the president before Claudia, his name was everybody calls him AMLO. Is it Lopez Obrador? So I have like some of my friends like there were like people canvassing for AMLO, and by canvassing they were like, hey, if you join this march so it looks like there's 10 million people marching for him on like the center of Mexico City, we'll give you like 50 pesos. So like there's a lot of shit, like whenever I see they're like, oh, there's this like anti-gentrification like marches, I'm like, okay, but like who's funding it? Like sometimes in Latin America a lot of things will be funded by like the US also. I think like I don't know, maybe it's just some tinfoil hat shit, but like since more people started working remotely, like commercial real estate is not like as viable of an investment. And I think they kind of like the US government is like doing shit down here to kind of destabilize like the main gringo zones. So like Americans don't feel safe and they return to their like cubicles. And then like especially in Latin America, if you're seeing like a mass mobilization of people, like think about who paying them, perhaps. Salud. But yeah, it's very possible, like, I think my lease ends like towards the end of 2026. It's like very possible that I might be somewhere else in Mexico by then. This summer actually, because I did like legal residency, so I might get my like permanent residency and then just be like a permanent resident of Mexico, which is like sick. Like I love it here. The world is very interesting these days now. But yeah, I'm like glad to catch up with you, and like I really want to take advantage of this time where I'm like alone in the house. Yeah, like there's no doors except for on the bathroom, so like I haven't really been able to like record voiceovers for other videos or like film while my friend is here. And I've also just been out a lot. Like there's sometimes where literally neither of us are in the house, but I super recommend, I love Tepoztlan. I super recommend it if you ever feel like coming down here. Like, and again, like, even like the gentrification stuff or like displacing like old stuff to make it appeal to like bougie foreigners. In the Zocalo in Tepoztlan, like where I am now, there used to be like a big street market where you like locals and like tourists, whoever, could just get like super affordable food. And at least from what I gather from like talking to people and like what my friend told me, the local, like all of those people were pushed out of there and forced into like a bougie market where they could like jack up the prices 15 times. So like there's certain things like this, like a tlaltequeada. You used to be able to get like a whole bunch of them like pretty affordably in the market, and they were like huge and delicious. And then they have like a bougie gentrified version of like pre-Hispanic food in this new market where it was like 600 pesos for both of us to eat it. Damn, they starting with the juguetes again. If you hear it, you hear it. That's just Mexico, dog. Like, get into it. But yeah, like finding out that like the original place where like the indigenous food like was like available to locals was like kicked out of their own fucking market and forced into like a bougie multi-level market made me so mad that I learned how to make them myself. But also, one of the women who used to make them in the market, she has like a restaurant with her family now, I think, outside of the city center. And I brought some friends there, and like we got like the beefy, like tlaltequeadas. Like I had one, it had, it was like beets and rose petals and like flor de Jamaica, and it was just like this beautiful red color. And I got them a salsa de tuna. Tuna, I think, is like prickly pear. That's like the fruit that comes off of cactuses. It was fire. But yeah, I hope to bring you some good like tabaslan content. I feel like I love, if you've never had pre-Hispanic food, I'm gonna link, I think a lot of the recipes that I found were in Spanish. I'm gonna link the only one, because most of my followers are in the US. I'm gonna link the only one that I've ever seen in English, but it was, Goop posted it, but the original recipe is by, chef, like, Rick Martinez, so, like, he's, like, Mexican, he traveled around Mexico, like, he looked into it, he even talks in his recipe how, like, this comes from, like, Morelos and stuff, so it's, like, it's pretty legit, so, like, I'll put it below if you want to try it. Super good, like, a lot of pre-Hispanic food is vegan or vegetarian naturally, so it's like hella good for you. That's why I've just been like burping. It's like I complain that I'm like burping and farting and like pooping 8 times a day, and then you watch me eat like a pile of vegetables, seeds, mole, and beans. Like, hell yeah, brother. Anyway, I'm gonna kill this and go about my day. Glad we could have this talk. Bye. Sorry. I feel so awkward. I haven't filmed in a minute. Damn.